I remember some years back when Valve first was talking about the Steam machines, and it did pique my interest at that time. But I'm glad I ultimately didn't jump into anything and buy one of those PCs, right? So I find it interesting because back then, with these Steam machines, the one thing you have to understand is that they weren't PCs made by Valve. Valve wasn't making hardware. All this was third parties making PCs that met minimum specs and were approved by Valve and were using Steam OS. And some companies like Alienware, CyberPower, there's a few of them who had that license and were making machines at the time. And I remember when they first started coming out and articles and reviews were coming out with, talking about Steam OS and how essentially it wasn't ready for prime time. That people were finding that the performance was kind of stifled through Steam OS versus playing on Windows. And it just made me all the more glad that, hey, I didn't jump into it type of thing. Then you flash forward to now, and we have essentially, there we go, a little reflection action, a Steam machine handheld, the Steam Deck. It's a PC that runs Steam OS. So yeah, Steam eventually started making, Steam machines, I guess you would say. But the Steam Deck isn't the original Steam Deck, if you really think about it. So today I wanted to revisit something that I find fairly interesting and was part of research for another video I'm working on, but I wanted to do a standalone one kind of revisiting this, the Smach Z, the handheld PC. At one point, this was going to be called the Steamboy. Now, there's a lot of controversy here. This Kickstarter, the funding was canceled back in 2015. You see how long ago this was, right? This one was canceled, and then a little while later, they said, hey, we have to redo some things, so we're going to reintroduce the Kickstarter, right? They had a huge goal, almost $1 million, right? And then they reintroduced another one, and it was successful. They had 1,300 backers it was around a $500,000 US, right? Now, this was supposed to ship in 2016, 2017. Yeah, estimated delivery November 2016. I think it kept getting pushed. April of 2017 type of thing. And this speaks to the warnings I always give people. It doesn't matter how confident I am in a crowdfunding campaigns, the owner of it. It's always pledge at your own risk, man, because a lot of people got ripped off here of hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It is freaking nuts. So looking at this thing, it was interesting because you could see, where do I have it? It obviously took heavy inspiration from the Steam controller with the haptic feedback touchpads and all that. And that's what this thing was going to be. It was supposed to be a Steam machine handheld. Valve never approved them using that license, calling it a Steam machine. So I think they just kind of dropped that at some point. But you got to remember, back in this time, we're going 5, 6, 7 years back, handheld PCs weren't really as close to being as mainstream as they are now. There's a lot of companies doing this kind of stuff these days, and it's just kind of, it's not as surprising. Oh my God, I think the Steam Deck is amazing, but there are other options out there. But when this was supposed to come out, it did pique a lot of people's interest. And I remember looking at it and being like, dude, this is kind of cool. I wouldn't mind getting one. I'm glad I never did, though. But the $500,000, that's not even the end of it, because they did have that, where is it? The in-demand Indiegogo. Boom. They got $744,000 out of that one. So they pulled in about $1.3 million from a lot of people who just straight got ripped off, man. This campaign is under review. It's not accepting contributions. And I hate seeing this, man. Going to a lot of these crowdfunding campaigns and just seeing comment after comment. I invoke my rights under Indiegogo's terms of use that the project creator is supposed to fulfill their rewards after successful fundraising. I want my money back. And they're not getting it, man. And the Smach Z, they have said they're going to try, I guess. But this leads me to a couple things, right? This guy right here, funds should have never been released to the campaigner with no proof of delivery. I feel you on that, man. I feel you on that. I hate to see these people losing out on their money, but it kept seeming like maybe this will be a reality for some. And at certain points, it was like, dude, their website right now, even right now, as of the recording of this is May 11th, 2022. You can go on their freaking website and pre-order one of three different versions. You could reserve one of three different versions of the Smach Z. You can get the regular one, the Pro one, or the Ultra one, between $700 to $1,100. Different storage, RAM, and camera. The base one doesn't come with a camera, right? But you can pre-order this shit. Cancel your reservation at any time. They're just taking like $10, I guess, right? You can go through the process. I got to the end. I don't know if it'll accept it or not. Like, I have a feeling it will. But I went through it, and I'm like, I'm not giving them my information, but I went through the checkout process to see how far it would go. And it got to the point where I'd have to commit and find out or just back out of it. And I was like, I ain't putting my information all the way in, right? But check it out. All this configuration here, different color. You get radioactive green, indigo zombie. Whoa. What does that look like? Got blood all over it. And the funny thing is get free delivery on any Smach Z ordered, and all versions include a charger expected to ship during 2020. Motherfucker, that's 2 years ago. Am I supposed to go back in time and then I'll get one? Makes no damn sense, right? No damn sense at all with this device, right? So, to move on, the company behind the Smach Z posted, it said, this Reddit post says that it was posted by Daniel Fernandez, the project founder, right? So let's scroll down here. Even though the funds we collected in Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and later on our website helped us start the journey, the project was way more ambitious than the budget we were managing. And that is bullshit, man. Bullshit. To take people's money and it turns out it's too ambitious, should have freaking known that to begin with, right? So they have some reasons that they blame the COVID pandemic. We don't want to blame it as the sole cause, but the timing was extremely bad. It was bad for everyone, man. Before starting production, we were proceeding with final testing. An emissions test failed, driven from the charger, even though the manufacturer had certified it. During assembly and testing of the first 200 units, problems related to the final batteries were found. And they weren't able to figure all this stuff out. Continuous delays of the project that had still not caused clear revenue, along with the pandemic landscape, made the investors decide they didn't want to keep supporting it. So they lost their investors, right? Does this mean your device will never come out? As hard as it is to say, we think the chances are low. We have a few months to look for new investors. And this was about this time last year. So a year ago. We might have if we are able to find investors, we might have necessary funds to at least produce your devices. And from there, whatever comes next. However, we want to be clear about our situation and how the future looks for us. Being at the current time, a team of 3, we're doing our best to focus all our strengths, right? What about refunds? If we finally declare bankruptcy, all the resources obtained by selling our remaining assets will move towards your refunds. Please understand there are priorities follow. For example, direct customers from our website will be refunded first. So the frick, man, your website's still up taking pre-orders. What is that? I don't know if you can actually finish the checkout, but like I said, I got to that point. I'm like, I'm not, for research purposes, I'm not going to risk my information to these guys, right? So yeah, they're going to have to figure out refunds, probably never, right? Especially like if they're, I don't know how their website always was set up, if it was always a $10 reservation or if at some point you had to pay the full price. I don't know. But like those people on the Indiegogo and the Kickstarter like lost hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Hopefully there's, I'm going through puberty or something. Voice is cracking. Oh my God. Hopefully there's a positive outcome in the end. It's very doubtful, but yeah, I just wanted to talk on this. Like I said, this was part of research for another video I'm doing that's not really focused on the Smach Z, but as I touch on it, it was like, you know what, this is kind of interesting to go back to and to dig into a little bit. From what I've heard, some of the people who are involved in the Smach Z, I can't like 100% confirm it. Maybe you guys got information concerning it. But from what I've heard, some of the people involved in this project have actually started another crowdfunding campaign over like the last year or maybe even recently of a different project. Like they've moved on type of thing. I don't know. If you have any information on that, drop it down below. But I did see that in one of the comments on one of the crowdfunding campaigns somewhere. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Want to talk on this original Steam Deck that never came out. Thanks for watching. Bye.